everybody. I hope everyone's having a great Wednesday so far. Mine has been. Really the only thing I can complain about is that I'm a little sore from the gym yesterday, but I guess that's a good complaint in a way, so. But yeah, let's get down to programming. So yesterday we got a lot of work done on the pathfinding, and we basically finished up the A-star algorithm itself, and we're working on providing these callback functions from Lua. And we encountered a small problem, mostly having to do with the fact that this function is not available at load time. And if we actually try to play the game, it will say attempt to call a nil value at simple pathfinding line 14, which is here. And that's just because I don't think coroutine helpers, well, coroutine helpers I think exists, but register pathfinding functions does not. I don't know. Coroutine functions, or coroutine helpers might not even exist at this point, I'm not sure. But regardless, we need to change this. So let's, what should I rename this? I guess we can just have this function registry and just reuse this for pathfinding as well. So function registry, yeah, pathfinding. Okay, let's call it pathfinding logic, and then add. So yeah, the name and then a bunch of functions that go with it. Okay, and this is a bit interesting because right now our loading. Let's play the game now and see what happens. I think it's going to tell me that I attempt to call a nil value still. At line 14, cannot access field pathfinding logic. Okay, so let's go to the Lua interface. That's strange that I just noticed I must have forgotten to commit these after stream yesterday. That's okay. Let's where's the function registry? Right here. So we have all these helper, but unfortunately none of them will actually work because we need a triple function, and all of these will only register one function. So I'm trying to decide, well, this is kind of I want to try and make this as generic as possible. So function registry. Well, it's not the same as a list. Maybe tagged group. And then I'll have a dictionary of the functions, and then we'll also have this hash set. But instead of having closure here, it'd actually be a list of closure. But I wonder, is this, because I wonder if we'll ever need to like give some other like metadata about this pathfinding group. Well, actually, I guess if we ever had to do that, then we should add some kind of new object to the actual table of contents. Yeah, so I think this is fine. We won't get too complicated with it. groups. This is auto-generate the new dictionary. Okay, and then we'll have, excuse me, function tagged. Well, actually, in order to have the same naming structure, I should change this to be group tagged. And this would be pathfinding logic. So now I have this, I can create another class here to add it. So function registry group tagged. I must have not forgot some part of the name. Okay, there we go. So I want to make this generic, but I don't think I can do it and still have like a variable number of functions. Well, actually, can't I use the... I wonder if this will work. Let's see. So we'll have a string name, or let's call it tag, I guess. Okay, no, we do. It is a name, so... I don't know if this works with, what's it called, Moon Sharp, but I guess we'll find out. Parameter must be a single, okay, I have to say closure. Okay, so if you've never seen this in C#, okay, why doesn't it like this now? There we go. So in C#, what this does is basically collect a variable number of arguments into this one array. So I could call something like add test, and then function 1, function 2, function 3, for example. And I would put all these into this functions array. Typo here. I guess it still made sense singular, but whatever. Okay, so here I have to make sure if funcs equals null, which I think could happen, or length is 0. So the only problem here is that we can't, well, I guess I could set the number of functions that we require right here, but it seems like it'd be better to do later. Oh hey Ice Boy, I'm doing great, how about you? It's been a while, so good to see ya. Okay, we don't care about duplicates, but I guess we do care if there's a duplicate tag, don't we? I haven't been on Twitch lately. Well, that's okay. I definitely understand. Good to hear you're doing good. So I guess another thing we'd want to test here is that we want to make sure that none of these functions are null in the list. So for each function and funcs, oh, this should be... So if the function is null, then we'll throw new script. I guess we'll just throw this same error. Okay, so if we get past all this, first we'll make a new list. I could probably just pass the array actually. Yeah, so I don't need to have that extra line. Registry groups tag equals new list functions. Okay, so let's just see if this works. In fact, here I'll go ahead and log the length of this array. Functions length. Trying to get into Game Maker Studio sometimes this week. Well, I hope good luck. It's a pretty fun program, so I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Okay, so what else do I need to do here? Oh yeah, I need to actually create this object. And this is pathfinding logic. Oops, I spelled that wrong. And then we just need to create... Still spelled that wrong. I'll just leave it because it's not that big of a deal. So this and registry, pathfinding logic. Okay. So now I think we should be able to play the game, and at least hopefully this code will run without issue. Exception. Let's see. Cannot access field pathfinding of user data. Did I miss? Maybe. Oh, I bet it's because I spelled the variable wrong. So the auto-generated accessor was also wrong. Oh, RPG Maker is having a sale on Steam. I might actually go look at some of them just for old time's sake. No reference. Okay, well we actually got past the loading. I'm looking for, the number 3. Okay, so good, it did grab all the functions and we got a length of 3. So this error is probably just from unfinished. Yeah, something was wrong in the trying to get all this worked out. I'm not worried about it. Okay, so now that we have registered the functions, we need to add them to the game data somehow. Which I guess we'll just have a dictionary. What have I been up to? Well, besides this and work, I found these. I've been trying to work on some pixel art because I really enjoy doing it, but I don't really have much time to anymore, especially since I decided to make this game 3D, so I've been trying to brush up on that. And I've been playing some older RPGs as well. Okay, so not a list, I guess it's a dictionary. We'll just use the raw data structure instead of making an enclosing class, I think. Gosh, this song is a bit intense. Okay, there we go. What RPGs? I'm trying to finish up Pokemon, and then a really old one. I've gotten into the Persona series lately. I really, but I don't like to start in the middle of a series, so I've been trying to play the older ones, and right now I'm on Persona 3, so Okay, so what is this? Pathfinding logic. Functions. Now I think the music's a little too quiet. That looks a little better. Or sounds a little better. Yeah, so this, it's a little weird just to use a dictionary of lists. I don't really... This can be a little confusing. So a lot of times I'd like to enclose this in another class, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yeah, I'm really excited to get to Persona 5, but it'll probably be a couple months or more. Because 3 is pretty long, and I still got 4 as well. And I was just playing around on Pokemon Sun. I haven't really done a whole lot because I already beat it, but I felt like doing a little, I guess, building for battles, but... Alright, so now we have this figured out. I can move to loading, that's what I was looking for, and the asset organizer. Okay, so where do I add all the other functions? I guess it's just whenever they come up. Really, I could be really lazy and do something like this. So pathfinding, oops, actually did a double dot there. Equals loaded function registry, pathfinding logic, groups. But I don't think that's a good idea. Also, I just realized that we don't need to have this used hash set for now. So I'll delete it until it's needed. So this would be fine, but I don't really like to just copy this. I wonder if I can do something like this. Add. Okay, there's no add range. Okay, so I'll be good here and try to avoid bugs. So for each pair and so this pair will give us the key and value for every entry in the dictionary. So I could just do something like pair key equals pair value. So I'm basically just copying this dictionary over without actually using the same object. So that way if something's ever added in here, it won't necessarily be added into the database unless we want it to. Okay, so now that's all set up. That wasn't too bad. I wasn't sure how difficult it would be to get this ready at load time. So now I'm back at the Pathfinder Manager. We used to have this dictionary of function groups. So I guess we'll still do this. Well, actually, I guess the database, or in game data, instead of storing a list of functions, we should actually, or just already create that, the pathfinding function group. In that case, then this needs to be moved into the data namespace. And let's rename it to pathfinding functions. Okay, and yeah, we wouldn't actually have this, we'd have it as closures right now. Well, I guess I've already moved it out actually. Let me redo this real quick, because we'll need the old version in pathfinding. Because this is actually like the Pathfinder will need these functions stored in this format, but whereas the data will have them just stored as Lua functions. Okay, and this is different. Oh. No, it was right before, wasn't it? It just, for some reason, my code colorer hasn't been working that well the past couple days. Okay, so yeah, instead of a list, this will actually be pathfinding functions. Why is it not like that? Inconsistent. Oh, okay, I just need to change this to be public class. Okay, and now back to the asset organizer. Instead of just adding the list directly, we need to create the new pathfinding functions object and then set each one. So neighbors is first, and then get cost, and get guess. So actually, I guess if a certain pathfinding is not going to be, let's change this. Is not going to use the pathfind to target, we don't need to have this guess function, so I guess technically this could be left out. I think that will be okay. So I guess we'll have to do this two ways then. So if error value count is 3, I guess we should do this as a switch statement actually. And then if there's only 2, we'll assume that it does not have a guess function. And if it's anything else, then we'll throw an error because it has the wrong number of functions. So let's see. Bad number of functions registered to pathfinding logic. And I guess we can add the key to the end. Oh, I did that strangely. Okay, so this looks good, I think. So the pathfinding manager does not really need... Well, actually, I guess I can just cache these as needed, so that way I won't have to create the new function group object every time. And also here, I think, yeah, this is using the pathfinding functions, so we need to change it to that. Still an error, but oh, that's because there we go. So the thing is, now we need to somehow transform this pathfinding functions, where they're each a closure, into these callbacks so the pathfinder can easily call these functions when needed. I guess that's fine. Also, yeah, then we have to do the same thing with this terminate callback. So I guess we should make a separate object for each of these because they're slightly different. Well, the cost and guess are the same. So we can have like I guess a get neighbors caller and then get cost and should terminate. Okay, so all of these Lua calls are really simple. They won't allow asynchronous helpers. I'm just thinking, am I gonna make things difficult on myself by, like, can these ever be called while an asynchronous function is running? And I think not, because I mean, it doesn't actually work on these requests until you yield out of the function, so I think that's okay. Let me walk through the code to make sure. Well, I mean, obviously it doesn't actually do the pathfinding right away, because the pathfinding manager is going to actually call the pathfinders and say do loop, and that will happen on some separate tick function. So yeah, don't need to worry about that. Okay, so back to here. This will just be a simple class. Does it need to have the controller, I wonder? I don't think so. Well, maybe it does, because it could throw an error. But we'll just handle that somewhere else. Okay, so private, so get neighbors, it doesn't have a return value, and it's passed a dynamic value. So get neighbors, and then it'll also just have the Lua function, which is a closure. I think that's really all it's going to need. The rest of it is basically just making sure this value is valid. Well, I think that we can trust that this value is okay. So I guess it will need to have the Pathfinder manager so it can call this is valid node type. And this can actually be static, so that way it won't need to have the actual value or the reference to the Pathfinder manager. Can we mix and match node types? Would that be okay? I mean, I don't really know why any Lua script would want to do that, but will that mess up my code at all? I think that the equals will be okay. What am I looking for? QNode. So we have get hash code, returns this hash code. Yeah, which is fine. Equals, if it's a QNode, then it will test this. Okay, and first, I guess it all comes down to this equals function here, which is in Moonsharp. Okay, yeah, and it makes sure that the types match up. Yeah, if type does not equal type, so that's fine. I was just afraid that the way that I'd done some of the logic, that the game could have thought that maybe a number that had the same hash code as a certain block position could be seen as equal, but I was smart enough to catch that already, so we don't really care if, because I was thinking that maybe the Pathfinder manager would need to like keep track of what node type the pathfinding is working on, and then like enforce that, but I don't, it's no big deal. Okay, so yeah, we'll trust the value passed into here because this is only going to be called from within the pathfinding system. But after we get values from Lua, we'll need to make sure that each of the values from Lua is a valid node. Okay, so how... I guess the simplest way actually would be to have this function return a table. But then they'd have to generate a new table every time. Well, not necessarily. I mean, it could try to keep a table, but do we want to have to worry about that? Do I do dialogue too? Yeah, if I think that we probably will have a dialogue system sometime, but not for a while. And yeah, I have implemented dialogue yet. Actually, on my channel, you can, on my YouTube channel, you can see a tutorial stream I did on dialogue a couple months ago. Alright, so let's take this block position. So there's two ways I could do it. I guess the simplest way is just to return a table, but that's going to generate a lot of garbage, and since this will be called so often, it seems just kind of like a waste. Okay, so yeah, this will actually need a helper function. Is valid block, and here we want to do the same type of thing that I did here, where we saw if the below is on the board and name is empty. I guess we could just call this neighbor. So you have neighbor as in board, and the block to prototype is empty, then below. I think we should have a helper function here. Instead of checking that the prototype name is empty, let's just call is empty. Is empty. Okay, so basically we see if this block is in the board. Okay, well, it is in board as a property, so we'll do that. And then we check to see if this block for the neighbor is empty. If it is, then we want to check below, and if the below has to be in board and not empty, which means we have to stand on something. Then we would return true. Okay, so let's create that is empty before I go any further. These are all like system functions, so public bool is empty, and we will return registry get block prototype battle board map. I actually don't need to do that. I just need to check to see if the data index is 0. Okay, so what we'll do here is we'll loop through the horizontal neighbors. And then if is valid block. Okay, so I'm leaning towards and not returning a list or a table. Okay, well maybe we should do it, because if the mod authors want to get really fancy, they could do some caching and things. So at the beginning we'll clear the table. Actually, I don't know if that function exists. Okay, there's no helpful function. So let's do for k in pairs neighbors do neighbors key is nil, and this is the same as clearing a table. Okay, so and then we'll just table insert neighbor, and then we'll do the same thing with the above and below positions. Above, then table insert position above. Below. Okay, and then we'll just return the table. Okay, so I guess that's the simplest way to do it, and it lets the mod authors do some caching if they want. Another way is we could have just called a function here like add pathfinding neighbor, kind of like we did with the ability targets add option, but I guess this way they could also like sort the table. I don't really know why they want to do that, but a little more control to the mod authors where available is always good, I would say. Okay, so back to this. So we'll have script runtime exception. And we'll just rethrow it actually. So I guess we really don't need the try, but it's the Lua function call and pass it the value. And I do need to get the return value. Okay, so if return value equals null or return value dot type does not equal table, then we'll throw new. Oh, I guess we can throw a runtime exception. Okay, so we'll just do a play exception. So pathfinding neighbors, bad return. So what else? Okay, so we need to make sure, yeah, the table is not empty. Well, no, empty is fine. I guess we just need to make sure that each value is a valid dynamic value, or valid, gosh, can't talk, a valid search node. Okay, so there we'll have this table, return table equals value table. Okay, can I just loop through the table? I kind of want it as a list actually. So yeah, we have the length. Okay, so we don't really care about anything else that's in the table that's not in the array. Okay, so if Pathfinder Manager is valid node type return table I. Oh right, and it's also one indexed. Now we convert from object to dynamic value. That's strange. Okay, so I guess yeah, you need to do it that way to get the dynamic value out of the table. So if it is a valid node type, we can add it here. I guess I need to cache it. Node, let's call it neighbor equals return table get I. Otherwise, we'll return or throw another error. Okay, and that's it. So I guess we should just pass this into the object when we create it. Okay, so that's all good. So just make sure I have this all correct. Okay, yeah, so it's a dynamic value, get neighbors. So looking good. And then here, I guess we should also set up the callback into the group. Just for simplicity, we'll just pass the pathfinding functions. So data functions, okay. Looks good. Now we need to do the other two types, which is get cost and then should terminate. And it will really be pretty much the same structure. To get wing sharp and data. Okay, and this will be for get cost and get the guess. Oh, I put in the wrong namespace, so this should go in pathfinding. So here, this does have a return value, which is double. Okay, well actually we don't know if this is a cost or the guess. This is a little awkward, but and what does this need? Dynamic value, double. From value to value. Yeah, don't have this list. Okay, this should be fine now. Okay, yeah, that's good. And again, the code color is not doing its job. Oh, yeah, it's still get cost. We just store it in a different place. Okay, so again, we'll trust that these values have already been validated. So from and to value, and yeah, the arguments are the same. It's to from and then at target, but it's still two nodes. Finding cost, bad return. Well, actually, there should be no return value, so we don't even need to check that. Don't care about it. Oh, well, no, it has to return a number, of course. And then And also, we need to make sure that the number is greater than or equal to 0. Actually, I think it has to be always greater than 0. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, because if you want to do something with basically no cost, just set everything to 1. And that will work. That's just a breadth first search. But so here we are, we don't have to do anything with tables. I think all we have to do now is just return the number. Okay, and then the last thing is should terminate caller. And this is going to be a little different, but I can still use this class as a base. Basically, it's not going to be stored anywhere, it's just grabbed from the arguments. So yeah, I'll just pass the closure right away. Maybe it'd be easier for this function group. Doesn't really need to mess with these actions and stuff. I can just use these actual class names now that I think about it. So I was making this a bit more complicated than need be. Yeah, let's actually try not to be fancy here and just get the actual Lua function. Doesn't really need to store itself. Okay, and now we can just make this public. I never really liked how this code right here worked, so okay, and then the should terminate caller will just have this class as public, and it's just a boolean, and then it's just the node. Okay, so the return value cannot be null, it has to be a boolean, and that's about it. So pathfinding should terminate is bad return. I guess that's it for here, so yeah, pretty simple. So now this will actually be a should terminate caller. And then down here, I just clean this up a little bit. So get neighbors. That's a little awkward. Get cost, and get guess. Alright, so now that's all good. So back at the Pathfinder manager, I guess it could create these function groups right away, or we might as well just wait until it's needed. Okay, so before we throw that, this should actually be function group. Oh yeah, when I renamed it, all this stuff got messed up. Okay, so yeah, before we throw this error, we'll try to see if the name is function group tag is in the game data but hasn't been created yet. So yeah, have the data dot pathfinding functions, and then if database, okay, don't have a reference to the database yet, but that's easy to get. So pathfinding logic functions, try get value, tag out data functions. Okay, so if this is good, then we just need to create the new group. It's new data functions, get neighbors. Oops, yeah, I put an extra semicolon where it's not needed. Data functions, get cost. Okay, that's all I can do here because yeah, we only want to do the get guess if it actually exists. So if it's not null, then we can add it. And then we need to add it to the function groups dictionary. Yeah, that's right. And then only if we weren't able to do that because a group wasn't registered under this name, then we'll throw that error. Alright, so that's all fixed, I think. Okay, and then we need to check here on this terminate function. So this should be should terminate caller, actually. And also, oh no, it's a target. We need to make sure that there's a guess function. Well, I guess there technically doesn't have to be one. If there wasn't one, then you would just do a bad search. Okay, so do I want to support that? Probably should. So this Pathfinder, we would just say if functions get guess is null, then we'll just return 0. I don't think that will cause any problems, but let me look back up at the code. So it's only used in target mode, and yeah, we just get the guess here and add it to the queue, and that just modifies the priority here. And yeah, if it's 0, then it's just gonna act the same as if we weren't in target mode. And it'll just basically search randomly until it just randomly gets to the target. So yeah, that won't be very smart, but I guess it's not a problem. Okay, but here, yeah, we definitely need to have the terminate function. Okay, so did I set the functions there. Okay, and then this Lua register doesn't even exist anymore, so I need to delete that callback. Because that was moved to load time, which it works a lot better like that, so I'm happy. Alright, and so now we need to see if pathfinding is done, and that's pretty simple. So gotta get a reference to the pathfinder. That's if pathfinders try get value request index. Okay, so if the finder exists, then we'll return finder is complete. Else, I guess we'll return true. Because if there's no pathfinder, then it's obviously done. Okay, so I think that's about it. Alright, so what should the cost? It should just be like the distance, a simple distance between these two. And then, okay, and get cost should always be called on neighbors, so I guess it would just be 1 always. And the guess cost will just take basically the difference between each of their XYZ positions. So return that's absolute value between the column plus the absolute value between the rows. Oops, not add again. Plus the absolute value between the layers. Did I do that right? Yeah, it's target columns, row, and layer. And this should always be less than or equal to the total get cost between the at and target, because we basically can only move in a cardinal direction towards each. And so there's no way that we can move diagonally or somehow go faster than this, or somehow get there with a shorter cost than what this target would, or what this function would return. And of course that's the only... I'm not sure what would happen if you actually returned a guess that was greater than the cost, but it would mess up the algorithm, I think. Somehow you might not get the shortest path that way, I think is the problem. Okay, so I know not really going to get... Obviously we won't get any values here. Oh, I thought I fixed this. Oh no, I guess Unity... Yeah, this is the Lua Callers version, that's weird. Yeah, if you try to move a function or a script, Unity sometimes creates duplicates, but this is weird because Like this is like an old version of it. But yeah, we don't want this. We just want the one in pathfinding. Okay, so any other? Let's actually try to play the game and see how far it gets. I think, well, obviously it's going to throw an error in those scripts because we haven't actually done anything with the paths yet. Okay, here, null reference. Oh, okay, so I didn't actually create any of these data structures yet. Couldn't extract exception from string. Okay, well that's just because exceptions are being weird. Okay, let's put it first before these. So function, groups, and pathfinders. Alright, and then we need to get the game data. Okay, so I'm hoping that we'll get to some part in the scripts, probably during one of these ability usables. It'll try to find all paths, and then at some point this num paths will run and say, like when this script resumes from the coroutine, and this will be null, obviously. Argument is out of range. Yeah, it's not going to bring me to the object. Secret request handler is request filled at 236. Okay, so num paths, yeah, cannot access field num paths because it's a nil. User data? Oh, that's weird. Ability scripts 44. Huh, why did it yield the arguments? Probably just because there was an error. Now that I think about it, to not have any weird things like that happen. The asynchronous request handler should probably clear this first arguments after it's used. Well, it shouldn't happen there, actually. Oh, I don't know. Oh, I looked at the wrong thing. Call script. Actually, I think when we refresh latest, shouldn't it? Oh, it just calls this refresh script, so I guess that's fine what I was doing. Alright, Iceboy, thanks for coming by. Have a good day at school tomorrow, and sweet dreams. Oh, and good luck with your tablet. I hope you're able to fix whatever the issue is. So yeah, I'll just set this to null because we don't really want the first arguments to be called twice if there's an error like this, because I think what was happening is that for some reason the coroutine was yielding the arguments again, which is not really an issue, but it's kind of strange. And then but what we really need to try and fix is this argument out of range. That happened at line 236. Is filled queries. Oh, did I not? I guess I didn't register the pathfinder. So is field queries safe set. Sync quest type. Pathfinding. Well, somewhere, doesn't it? Oh no, okay, this is right. I was gonna say, somewhere it created the Pathfinder manager, but I needed to actually grab this function out of it. Async, open request. I guess I could have copied and pasted. Alright, so now that should be fixed. Alright, Ice Boy, yeah, good luck. So yeah, star requested pathfinding, yielded a request. So resuming script usable, yielded true, complete. So the second script is a star move usable. Resumed it. The ability usable arguments. Yeah, that's the first time. So then it requested pathfinding. Okay, so what is this? Oh yeah, and then it yielded the request. Oh, okay, I think one problem here is this check specific request ready would check to see if the request, like the pathfinding request, ready before it's actually started. Well, no. Yeah, because when the Lua calls this find all paths, the Pathfinder manager gets called. Okay, and then it sets it up. And it sets up the Pathfinder and... Oh, but the Pathfinder is not actually ever updated yet. I knew I was forgetting something important. So, let's see. Controller, subscribe, ticking. I guess let's just do normal. I don't think it has to go any specific time. Okay, and then we'll just loop through the Pathfinders. Values. Should we have like a list of active Pathfinders? After a while this... Well no, we'll just when we clear out like the pathfinding that's out of date, we'll empty them out from this list. I was gonna say that this dictionary will get really large if we store all the pathfinding operations. Yeah, we don't cache anything yet. Okay, so we just say finder do loop. That's it. Well, I guess we need to make sure that the finder is not running. So if finder is complete is false. Okay, so let's try this one more time, and we're basically just checking to see that everything runs. This isn't actually good for testing because we don't actually know if anything's happening, but we know that if there's an error or not. Okay, so bad argument number 1 to table insert. Okay, I probably did it backwards. Oh no, I didn't even include the table, that's silly of me. Couldn't extract exception. Cannot access field numpaths of user data, async response. Actually, oh yeah, so the async response. Yeah, this should be something like pathfinding results, numpaths, something like that. I know this will cause a problem right now because we haven't created this. But if we can actually get to this point, I guess we just did prove we got to that point because it's saying that it can't find the numpaths. But what is this weird null reference exception? Couldn't extract exception string. Was thrown while processing the stack trace. I don't even know what that means. Well, I guess I do know what it means, but I've never seen that error before. It's kind of strange. It's a little runtime exception during the async request handler at 150. So I guess let's just look there and see if I can see what the null error is. Maybe there was another null exception during here or here. I don't know how that could happen, but oh wow, much time has flown by tonight. But I guess, yeah, I better stop now. Okay, yeah, so we'll try and figure out this error. I guess, couldn't extract exception. Was thrown while processing the stack trace. I guess it's related to this one. Yeah, I'll need to look. I'm not even sure how I would debug that. I guess I could comment this out and see if that still happens, then I would maybe narrow down. I'm really curious. Hopefully this won't take too long. Okay, nope, it still happened. I don't know, I'll need to play around with that. But anyway, I think I better call it a night. So thanks everybody for coming out and watching. I know a bit of a shorter stream again. But I should be here at 8:30 Eastern tomorrow. And we'll continue working on this. Probably just a couple more days and we'll be done with pathfinding and we can move on to, I think, some modeling. We'll just so get to do some art. Yeah, if you missed any of this stream and any previous stream and you want to catch up, I upload them all to YouTube, and you can get to my channel by typing !YouTube in chat or looking at my channel description. And also I have a Discord channel if you'd want to chat with me, other viewers, or game developers. I'd love to get a bigger community there. So you can get an invite by typing !Discord in chat, or again looking at my channel description. So yeah, thanks again everybody for watching and coming out. Hope you all have a good night, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Alright, bye bye.